Do you know if you're in the right super fund? Is super a boring and confusing topic? Well, yes, it is, but it is important. Why? Because you don't want to get to 50 or 60 years old and have the realization that you've been in a low growth super fund paying way too many fees for the last 20 or 30 years and realize that you've missed out of so much more money that you should have had in your retirement fund. So you can't get that time back. But what you can do is take a few simple actions today to make sure that you don't lose future money for your retirement fund. In this video, I'm going to take you through a step-by-step process. There's this tool here in Australia called the Your Super comparison tool. It's set up by the Australian Tax Office. It's a really handy tool. And I'll walk you through this today, how you can check to see if how your super fund is performing to maybe others in the market and be able to make that choice. So I'll just share my screen on that now and I'll take you through it. So just firstly, here in Australia, recent research suggests that 29% of Aussies will retire comfortably. And then retire comfortably $68,000 a year, thereabouts at this point in time. So when you think about that, 29%, that's only 1 in 3 Australians are going to retire comfortably. That's not a lot. That's, stand in a queue, look to your left, look to your right. Maybe that's you out of the 3 people that are just standing there, yourself and the 2 beside you. Maybe not. But what does retire comfortably mean? Well, retire comfortably means that you're basically not having to choose the budget option for everything you need in life, such as your private health care, the car you drive, the clothes you wear, really limiting the leisure activities that you want to do in your retirement, and so on, all of those sorts of things. So that's what we mean by a comfortable retirement. So it's really important that you take an active interest in your retirement fund, or here in Australia, as we call it, super. So I'm just going to take you through this website. It's pretty handy. You can see here, up here, you can just Google for your super comparison tool, and you will find this website. But I'll put a link to this website in the description of this video, and I'll just sort of start to step through this for you, just to take you through it. It's a really useful tool to see where you're at. Now, one way to get things really more personalized for your specific financial circumstances is use your MyGov login, and you can put your specific details into this comparison tool, and that will help. I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to stick to the standard example that's already in this tool and just walk you through that. Okay. So what you can do is you can go down here and you can choose. Firstly, I would try and find out what your current superannuation fund name is and see if you can find it in this list. Now, it might not be in this list, and there's a reason for that. This list is specific to my super products. So the large industry fund type products, those industry fund products are typically being set up by trade unions or employee associations, that sort of thing. Most of them are pretty open access these days, and anyone can access them. And the key thing about these, they're probably good. They're good value for you because the profits for industry super funds or my super funds are generally turned back into the funds for their members. Whereas a retail super fund, for instance, which you won't find in this list, unfortunately, retail super funds are generally set up by banks, financial institutions, maybe insurance institutions as well, and their profits are all about their shareholders. So there's a bit of a difference there. You could probably pick up on where the money is going to benefit you or not, so pretty easily. So this is all about my super products and more around industry super funds. Most of us in Australia, if you're employed, you will probably be in one of these. But if you're not, you can go to your super fund, find the details you're looking to make this comparison. So I'll just start going through. Let's just say you're with your employer and your employer has you in a Mercer super fund. So let's have a look at this. Maybe it is Mercer Smart Path, and you were born, let's say you were born in 1975. So you choose the 1974 to 78 option, because the way the Mercer fund's set up is it's set up specific to your age in regards to the investment strategy they employ. So if we just choose that one, what that does now is this pins it to the top of all the funds that are being compared in here. So what we can do is we've got that there now, and we want to select that because we want to compare the fund that you're currently in to other funds. And now the next thing I would do, just talking through this, down the left-hand side is all the different funds that this is compared to. The tax office gets this information from an organisation called APRA. There's some details about APRA right down the bottom of this website somewhere. There it is, the Australian Prudential Regulation Authority. Probably don't need to know too much more about that, but there's all of these different super funds here. There's quite a lot. As you can see, there is 70 super products. There you go. That's a lot. So what it means here in this column here, investment performance, we're talking about so performing. There's a benchmark. There's a performance benchmark that's set, and if it says performing, then it's actually performing above the benchmark, which for your money, that's a great place that you want to do. So that's great. If it's not performing, it will say it in this column somewhere. But hopefully there's not too many in there. Let's just click on this, and it might find some. No. Anyway, let's not delve too much into that. Where it says not assessed, that's because the super fund has only been in operation for a few years, and the sample size across the number of years is not big enough. We've got a column here on annual fees. So this will be the administration fees and investment fees that are usually associated with the super fund, just to give you an idea what fees you would be paying. If your super fund is not one of these in this list, and you're in some sort of retail fund and your fees are in the thousands and not in the hundreds, as it's shown here, then you might want to have a look at what sort of performance you're getting, because fees are one thing that can really erode your super balance over time. So that's, fees that are not growing for your advantage because they've been taken away. So you don't want that to happen. And here we've got the 8-year net return. So that's a bit of a longer term vision on the net return of the performance of the super fund. So let's go and choose a couple of super funds to compare. The easiest thing to do would be click on the 8-year net return, and let's find the best performing funds. So hang on, back to front. Just click on that again. So the arrow is pointing upwards. And here are some of the better performing funds that are out there. So let's just choose. You can choose you can compare up to 4 products, as it says here. So let's go choose another 3 products. Some good ones to choose is Host Plus. Host Plus is really probably one of the top performing industry super funds, and you'll see this in a minute. Another really popular fund that a lot of employers choose is the Australian Super. And what else do I generally see? There's Sgarbossa in there. What else? There's Uni Super is another popular one. Let's just choose Uni Super. So you can choose whichever ones that you like. Any of these that have got a little red no entry sign on them, so to speak, that means that super fund is specific for that employee group. Unless you're employed by that employer, you can't get access to that. So don't choose any of them unless you're chosen by that employer. So we've selected 4 now, and it's simple as compare the 4. So okay, and we come up with this little table here. So in regards to performance comparison, I would just look at the past 8-year net return, because for most of us, we're going to be looking for returns probably greater than 8 years. Unless you're starting to look like you're close to retirement, you might want to have a look at this past 5 and 3 as well, because when you get close to retirement, the types of investment options within the fund that are chosen for you are more defensive strategies. So you're not so exposed to market volatility over time, because you don't want to be subject in a high growth investment strategy, which is a bit more subject to volatility when you're nearing retirement and the market crashes. That's going to have a real impact on you. You want to have some more defensive strategies close to that retirement age. But we can see here, just looking at the 8-year net return, if you're in that Mercer Smart Path and you were born in 1975, as the example I was using, then currently that fund is performing about 6.17%. But then go and have a look at Host Plus, Australian Super, Uni Super. All of them are performing better. Now that's quite a lot better as well. So over time, over 20 or 30 years, that small increase in performance, what appears a small increase in performance, is going to benefit the money or the size of the money you have saved at your retirement age greatly. Just stepping down, you can see here that's outperformed in so Mercer has been outperformed in all of those three net return columns. And if you have a look at the fees, they're all fairly similar. UniSuper is a bit cheaper, but not quite the best performance either. So this can give you a guidance on going, okay, well, maybe we need to choose a different super fund here. And there's an easy way to do this. You go to your employer and you just ask your employer that you want to choose your super fund yourself, and they will give you, there's a specific form for this that they should be able to give you, okay, which is your choice, your super choice form. You can fill that out and you can go and choose one of these funds. Now, like anything, you've got to really make sure that you get advice that is specific for your circumstances. I don't know what your circumstances are, only you know what your circumstances are. Maybe worth having a chat with a financial advisor to make this choice. And also, all of these super funds have their own financial advisor service within them. I would highly encourage you to take advantage of that. It is you don't pay any extra for that service. You're already paying for it in your super fund. Find that number for that particular fund, give them a call, have a chat to them, talk to them about that. They'll also help you through the right investment strategy for where you are in life, when you want to retire, what sort of income you have, if you're putting in extra super contributions or are considering that, and how old you are, which is one of the biggest considerations. So if you're young, you might want to go for a more high growth option. If you're in your 20s, 30s, maybe even your 40s, but if you're in your 50s and approaching retirement, you might want to look for something a bit more modest, like around a balanced option. So there you go. So you can use this to then compare and make that decision. Very, very, very useful tool. So what I would say from here is have a look at that. Call up your super fund, have a chat to their financial advisor. If you want to change your super fund, which if you're not performing at the top, it's your money, you would want to take charge of it and you want it performing for you as much as it possibly can. Decide to make that decision, ask your employer for that form, change your super fund. It's really simple. This is easy stuff, guys. Simple actions that can make a massive difference to your retirement savings and how you live your life in your retirement. Okay, so you don't want to put this off. You don't want to miss out on the growth that you could have, because by not taking action today means that you're potentially going to have less money to retire on in the future. Okay, so I hope you've gotten value out of that today. I hope you've gotten a lot of value out of that today. If you think other people get value out of this video, please like and share the video. And I'll also leave the links in the description below to this particular page, so you can go and get those links. And I'll also leave a link to last week's video I did. And last week's video was how to supercharge your super. And I've got 3 key actions in there for you on how to do that. So that would be worthwhile to go and check out as well. So once again, I always appreciate the time you spend with me here. I hope you've got great value out of that. Go and have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye for now.